Thanks for visiting Patient Weather. I'm meteorologist Al Peterlin. I'd like to talk about the weather health stress for January 17th, 2026. We do keep additional graphics available at tpatw.com, and we maintain a Patient Weather storefront on Amazon. Amazon purchases made through our patient storefront do support the activities of Patient Weather. Looking at the surface map, we do see that low pressure hanging over southeastern Canada, lots of unsettled weather from the lakes into the upper portions of the Appalachians and into New England. And notice there is an extensive cold front hanging south all the way across Philly to Asheville, back to Oklahoma City. But the real key here is there is high pressure flowing, strong, cold, high pressure flowing into the heartland. Looking at the vitality index, that's our measure of the change, all of the different changes of all of the weather parameters. And from the Rockies east, there's some kind of activity going on, but a little bit of focus here in Montana, a significant focus up the middle Mississippi Valley, and then, of course, that other focus from that low over southeastern Canada, down through New England, along the coast, all the way down to Florida. Looking at pressure change, always significant for those with migraine, headache, asthma, arthritis. We have falling pressure here in Montana, but through the heartland, all the way up and down the plains, the Mississippi Valley, the Great Lakes, the Ohio Valley, we have rising pressure, significantly rising pressure. And then we have a little bit of rising pressure trying to move away into New Brunswick, Nova Scotia. Looking at temperature change, and this is winter, and here's those cold temperatures, and you'll notice there's just a touch of warming here with that low up in Montana. There is some warming here with that low over southeastern Canada, some warming across New England, and significant warming down here in Florida into the Carolinas. The thrust of the real impact, of course, is that frigid air, the cold air, flowing down the plains, the middle Mississippi Valley, all the way into the Ohio Valley. There's your chill. Looking at dew point temperatures, in this case, is very, very interesting, especially looking at the juxtaposition of the temperature, dew point temperature change versus vapor. And usually these two are very well in line. But what I'm looking at here, just as the difference is, notice here the frigid air flowing into the plains and the Mississippi Valley, but with that shallow, very narrow warming running all the way from the Texas Panhandle up into Wyoming, a very narrow stretch of great differential between the rising dew point temperatures and the falling dew point temperatures. Always something to look at when you see tremendous differences like that. Jumping to POI, or our measure of the oxygen availability in the atmosphere, we're looking at asthma and arthritis stresses here in Montana down into Wyoming, asthma and arthritis stresses up here in Canada, southeastern Canada, all of these Canadian cities from Toronto to Quebec, and then down the coast, but getting, again, stressing strong along North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia through Florida. Now, the migraine stress runs up and down the plains from Texas all the way to eastern North Dakota, all the way from Alabama in the east up to Ohio, and then all of the heartland in between, especially along Louisiana up into Missouri, Iowa, up through Minnesota, Wisconsin, and these Great Lakes areas. So we have that migraine stress in the heartland, we have asthma and arthritis stress along the eastern seaboard, and then down into Montana. While it doesn't appear significant, having any kind of indication of a migraine stress in California is significant just because of the geography and elevation. So we are talking about some spotty risk migraine here in Southern California into Arizona. Thanks for visiting the patient and the weather. Your comments are appreciated. And if you hurt, won't you tell us where you're located?